What's going on, folks? Welcome back to the LetDirtFly YouTube channel.
All right, today's the second episode where we are installing Perfex lifts on our ladies' machines.
That's right. So the other one was a 2012 to 16, I think it was. This is for a 17-18 because the trailing arms are different between the two quads. So today we're going to get into that right now and show you everything on how to do this. So let's get into it.
All right.
All right, so first thing we're just going to do real quickly that we did in the other episode is measure our current height. Now, obviously it's a little hard to measure your exact ground clearance, so we're just going to find a point on the frame we like, and the bumper is what we did.
Let's go right to the piece of white there.
All right, so right now we're at 33 on the dot, basically.
Yeah, it's right to that little...
We'll call it 33 on the dot. All right, in the front. All right, so call it 28 and roughly a quarter.
Okay.
So 28 and a quarter in the rear. So that's the two numbers we're going to look for, and we're going to hopefully see roughly 2 inches. Close to 2 inches on both of those. So right now we're just going to get the quad jacked up, take tires off, and go ahead and dig in. Now the front, I believe, is going to be roughly the same as the last episode. Yeah, the brackets kind of look the same.
Yeah, it looks the same.
Yep. So but the rear is what's going to be totally different. So we got to get into that in a little bit, but probably start with the rear this time because it is totally different. So we want to see how everything looks. The front, yeah, the front's probably gonna be kind of roughly the same-ish. So
it's way easier to jack this.
Yeah,
Get off the ground now. So
there you go. All right, let's get the tires off.
Perfect.
All right, so the first thing we're gonna do for the rears, start by removing the rear rack. We have 4 13mm bolts, which are located here and here, and on the other side, basically the same exact spot. Sometimes it might get a little tight because of the exhaust. Maybe so that's got no problem. And then you just give her a grab. That's it. I believe you never knew that.
Never ever.
Easy. Boom, look at that. Dunsky. Alright, now we're going to take the seat off. That's pretty self-explanatory. Just pop her up. Boom. Get her out of the way. So now we got to remove this panel here. So easiest thing to do that I've found is you got to remove the battery bracket here, which is some 10mm, and then these two torque spits here. I think they're T30s, and then you got to remove these seat little bushings here that kind of just pop out. And a little bit tough. Sometimes you got to walk them out, like spin it. Get that guy out of the way. Yeah, ow. That's my finger.
Break your
Yeah, one more there.
Break your nail.
And the back, which is even better. Now there is, right here, there is a little like loop thing that's supposed to help hold up the front of the rear box, the storage box, that they always break. Usually 9 out of 10 times, and you're going to pull everything apart. So if yours breaks, don't worry about it, because actually Perfex has you trim it. I'm guessing to fit the shock bracket or something. So if it breaks or not, doesn't matter because you gotta take it off anyway. So now we just gotta get our T30 out, get those suckers out of there. But they have much longer to go. But.
I did for that one.
All right, so now I'm not gonna be able to do this with the hold of the camera. Gotta try to pop it up over the battery tray here.
I have not done this so.
So this has to kind of slide like that. Just gotta get those prepared. Then you have to push in on these little clips here. There's little clips right there. Just gotta push down on them and pry out. Kind of just give her a little push, get her started. And then, like I said, most likely that plastic tab is gonna break, so I wouldn't even worry about it. Plus, we have to take it off there anyway for the lift instructions. It'd be a miracle if it actually came out. There's one piece I've never gotten one to come out like that yet. So it's probably just gonna break. It'd be nice if it did break actually, because it actually makes it easier.
I don't even know what's holding it right now.
You have to slide it forward to enough to where...
Seems like it's caught somewhere right there.
Yes, there's that hook that breaks off.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why I said it's actually easier when it does break off. They usually don't like to come off there. Alright, so unfortunately the camera died just as soon as it actually ended up breaking. So this little piece here usually breaks off. Like I said, it'll be fine without it. And plus anyway, we have to cut it off in the instructions that Perfex gives us. So Seth right now is just attempting to clean his embarrassing
I have never
message.
ever taken off my back. So
Yes. Yeah,
this is all new to me.
it's not so bad. Thanks for blowing that on the camera there.
You're welcome.
Alright guys, so the reason you want to pull this all apart is because we're going to be putting some lift brackets in here.
Trim here.
Seth right now is going to figure out where that all goes, and then we will let you know in a couple seconds. So as always, we like to show off, see what comes in the package here, and Perfex always kills it.
They really do.
So literally, look at the labeling. Rear hardware, front hardware.
Now,
no looking for a crazy amount of stuff.
these 3 pieces is your front bracket, 1, 2, 3. These 2 thinner ones are your rear bracket, and then those are the extenders for your sway bar.
Sweet.
And you got the
Axle spacers.
Axle spacers.
So yeah, we're gonna have to pop the trailing arms out, and we might have to trim the frame like we did on my girlfriend's 500.
We have to do that.
We did say we had to trim the frame. Okay, no big deal.
So it's the same process. It's just these 2 brackets.
Yeah, you know why it is? Because the trailing arms are different between the years. So this is a newer style bracket. I think they started this in 2017 or so.
Hey, I mean, this already has 3/8 of an inch gap, but we'll trim it anyway.
Oh, yeah, no, you're gonna have to
Says
trim it. Yeah.
So we'll trim it.
We're gonna trim it a little bit. We may not have to go as far or something like that, but so they changed the trailing arms throughout the years. So I think they changed it to this style in 2017, which is
So this
year.
style is 17 and 18 only. At 19, they went to the new style because the axles are.
Everything's wider.
So-
It's wider, and they changed the shock mounting points, I believe, on the newer quads like mine, but the 2020 and 2019 there. But yeah, so right now we're gonna go ahead and get all this stuff taken out of here because we had to get to the axles and all that fun stuff. Also, this is a good thing to know how to do. There is a lot. We're probably not going to film all of this just for time's sake, but it is something you need to know how to do. In order to grease your hub bearings, you have to remove the trailing arm to get in here. So this is something you have to know how to do to pull apart the whole rear end of the quad and stuff like that. It's not very hard. Just a bunch of 15 millimeters. Some 10 millimeters, and the axle nuts like I think 27 millimeter. So kind of standard tools and everything, and just take everything apart and get it out of the way. Alright, so we just went ahead and got all of the trailing arms removed. We actually removed the shocks completely. Got all the 15 millimeters basically out of there because it's all basically 15 millimeters with a couple of oddball stuff. But everything came out pretty decently, except, man, was that freaking trailing arm bolt tight.
Oh,
jeez Louise.
Was that on there?
We had to hit it with the 1,200 foot-pound DeWalt over there.
I mean, luckily with the breaker bar, which is what, like 3 feet long?
Yeah.
Plus a pipe, it cracked it like 3 freaking times and then...
It couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
That thing was on there.
That thing was really bad.
Yep, so right now we're going to go ahead and...
Scrape some of the mud out of my shit.
Yes, but right now we're going to do the grinding portion of the frame. So before you take off your trailing arms, you want to mark the frame kind of like so. It's about a 1/2 inch you need right there. So usually from the factory, the hitting point is that edge, but we're basically making the next hitting point be the other part there. So should be able to get that pretty easily. So just gotta chop that out with the grinder first, and then hit it with the die grinder afterwards, and clean it up, and be good to go. All right, now while I'm grinding, Seth's actually gonna go ahead and start getting the lift brackets in here. So he's gonna see how that's all done, because if we can get this done quickly, because Seth probably wants to go see his family.
At some point.
Yep, so I'm gonna go ahead and slide the lift bracket into there while I do some grinding, and we'll kind of meet in the middle and hopefully get the rear lift done. All right, so we got everything ground down here, so you can see how this side's looking. Kind of just took a nice swoop out of it. Try to keep it nice and neat, obviously. Don't make it look like butchery or anything like that.
Straight.
Yep, super simple with the grinder.
Did you find the paint? Yes, it's right next to my cup.
Okay. And here's Seth's side here. Let's see if his looks anything like mine. Close enough. Looks pretty good.
I didn't even look at yours.
Mine went higher with, I think, but it doesn't matter. But there, now Seth's just gonna hit it with some Can-Am paint job there, just to keep it from rusting, even though the rest of the frame is rusting, but we're just going to ignore that. It's fine. Yeah, second little scooch right there. Look at that. Always prep your painting surface first with plenty of mud.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, anybody who tells you have to prep and clean your surfaces is a liar.
Yeah, just dirt. Dirt is the way to
caked on.
He'll stick to it. All right, one thing Seth did while I was doing some of the grinding and stuff is he actually got the brackets in here. So this one went right in. You just have to remove the wire out of the way there. That's running to the taillight there. But that bracket went in nice and easy. The other one is a little tight.
A little bit of a squeeze.
Yeah, which is...
Like I feel like this has got to come down a little bit.
Yeah, we'll hammer that down now. But yeah, you can see it just pushes that plate just a little bit. We're just going to touch or tap it down with the rubber mallet in a second here. But basically those two brackets just pinch the actual like shock tower, yeah. So do that, and then your bolt goes in with a spacer, which you forgot over here, Seth. This is how it's supposed to be set up over here. Basically, you get just a big spacer where the shock used to go. That's just going to make sure that you can actually tighten it up and it won't pinch the frame. And then they give you some spacers that go for the actual top of the shock now. That's going to make it look really good. Then all we got to do is put the shock in afterwards, but we'll probably get the trailing arms in next.
Yeah, get the trailing arms in next.
Yeah.
Got to dry fit everything together.
Should be good. Alright, so we got the trailing arms back in. We still have to tighten the main pivoting bolt yet. But obviously we put in the nice new, the Perfex sway bar end links. Looks sick, looks killer. Those brackets are beefy too. I actually almost want like a stock length set just for my
yeah, they're
my
actually
850.
thicker than
Factory, yeah, they look beefy, they look cool. Yeah. But just kind of loosely fit the shock in here. Still got to get the spacers and stuff for up here to connect all of that yet. What we found out so far, it looks like using their nut with the factory washer worked the best so far here. The other quad, we ended up putting another washer behind that, but that was an aftermarket axle. So this looks like it's going to line up pretty good by the time it tightens up. But right now we just got to tighten everything down and then get our shocks ready to get all tightened in, and it should be good to go after that, I think. And then Seth has all the brake stuff over on his side.
I have most of it in place right now.
Oh, so. Sweet. There you go. Yeah. So, all right, let's go ahead and get everything snugged up, and then we'll figure out how all the shock goes up top there.
All right.
I'm looking at you from over here. What? Can just see you.
There it is, all of it.
Alright, so rear is basically done. So putting it back together is kind of the reverse of taking it all apart. Only difference is, like we said before, you got your nice new end link for a sway bar, and then obviously you got the brackets up here. Now the spacers just kind of go in there just like so. Super easy, and then there's a spacer in the middle. I don't know if I can get it on camera, but where it replaces where the stock shock went. So this way you're not pinching the frame. Everything tightened up nicely. Everything looks really good. Got plenty of clearance with the frame there, which is awesome. And she looks great. Yeah, Seth's almost wrapped up on his side here. So has a couple more things to finish up, but pretty straightforward. Most of this stuff, it's not quite that hard. It's actually harder to film and do it at the same time than it is to just if we were just to install it. So I think he's just got to tighten up some bolts back here. If you never had your trailing arms off before, there is a pop
rivet right here that you have to drill out.
But what we do is I just throw a zip tie in there. So this is what else you gotta do is snap a zip tie each time you gotta take off your trailing arms, because in order to grease the quad, you gotta take that guy off there. That's the one thing we did while it was all apart, we did grease it. So now that that's all set, Seth is probably gonna start on the front of the quad. I'm gonna go ahead and get the plastic back on here, which goes nice and easy. And I'm also just going to get the rack back on, just get that out of the way. And then Seth will play up front. All you gotta do, kind of like the other quad, is it's a spacer on the top, so you just gotta remove the top shock bolts. And then this thing has tons of clearance in here. Geez, even more than Melissa's. But yeah, you just gotta put those new brackets in and should be good to go. Alright, so moving on to the front suspension.
The 15 millimeter that holds the top of the shock in place comes out. Then you have two 13 millimeters. The top one of the two 13 millimeters comes out.
On both sides.
On both sides.
So let's take a look at this side here.
You want to hand me that other plate? Oh,
yeah. So Seth's already got this plate in place. You can see how it kind of lines up. Lines up like so. And then we got the bushing. Same thing that goes through the frame, just so it doesn't pinch. Well thought out by Perfex.
Plate goes like this, so you want to extend it out. So it would go here. I don't think I have the nuts over here for this.
So you got the one bolt here that goes in the bottom. Kind of installs just like the other one. There it is. Now it's installed. That's what it should look like before you snug everything up. We're going to leave it all loose though, because it's actually a little bit better. You can put the shock in now and stuff like that.
You know, so it doesn't do like a super squeeze.
Yep. Everything gets squeezed together all at once, just like that. Actually, you can get the bolt in now, might as well. And then we'll move on to the other side. Alright, so this is how things should look up front. So we had the one bracket going on the inside. of the little channel there. It's hard to see, I apologize. And then the one bracket going down the backside here that connects in with this bolt here that you forgot loose, Seth.
What's that?
Forgot one bolt here. It's 13 millimeter.
Oh, the 13 I didn't get it?
Yep.
Alright.
But yeah, so everything's basically tightened up front here. We just gotta tighten that one bolt up Seth forgot. You should check the other side too. All right, time to measure this thing up. We just relaxed the suspension and made it this way. It's at its current ride height, and we are at like
34 and 3/8.
Yeah.
So we gained, what was it, 33 and a half, did we say?
33.
33, so we gained an inch and 3/8 up front.
You can see she's a lot taller.
The 2 and a half or something that you pulled on that one.
Yeah, I don't know why. I think that thing ended up a lot taller. Somehow, some way.
And then, bowling.
This one I think was 27 or 28.
And this is exactly 30. I don't know if you can see that.
We did it at the bottom before.
Oh.
29. So it's 29.
28 and 3/4.
Up to the very bottom edge.
Yeah.
I call it 29.
I mean, close enough. 28 3/4, 29.
Now, what was it before, let me see. All right, so basically, gained about an inch in the back, roughly. It came out awesome, really beefy, as always, from Perfex here. So now, Seth has to do the honors and take her down the driveway and
yeah,
see how she feels.
Tighten this rack, or did you do that?
Yeah, tighten the rack up.
All right, beautiful.
She's good to go.
Beautiful.
All right, guys, let's finish up the install of the Perfex lift kit here for the 2-inch lift kit for the 650 XMR. Now, like I said, this is for the 2017 to 2018.
2017, 2018.
It came out really good. Was a little bit more difficult to install, a tiny bit, than on the 500 here. Mostly because you had to take the plastics off and stuff, but I mean, nothing out of ordinary there. Chopping the frame was pretty easily.
Yep.
Everything up front.
Front was just the same.
Yep.
So
all easy. Yeah. And I said, not a ton more, I guess you call it ground clearance technically, because it's.
I mean, I don't know. We blew this tire up instead of having 2 pounds in it.
Oh yeah. So yeah, when we did our measurements.
So it's probably at least an inch in the front now.
Yeah. No. Oh no. It was over an inch before.
No. Oh,
it's probably closer to 2 inches now because yeah, that tire only had 2 pounds in it instead of like 14 like the rest of them had.
Well, you know.
So that threw off everything.
But yeah, so lift install rating, I don't know. I would say it's like a 3. You know, I think
out of what?
3 out of 5. Like 3 stars, 5 stars. You know.
Oh, as far as like how hard it was.
Yeah, I don't think it was very hard. 2.5 maybe.
Yeah,
I mean, as long as it's really just the grinding of it.
Give it
2 wrench. There you
go.
Yeah, it wasn't very hard to install. Like I said, we took more time doing it because we were filming. So I went back to actual factory footwells on this. I might just put different footwells on it just to get a little more clearance because it was like this from
yeah. So when you're lifting the Can-Ams here, it's got the trailing arm. So basically.
As you lift it up, the tire swings in towards
forwards.
the...
Yep, so it basically gets closer to that footwell. So lost a little clearance to the footwell, which is no big deal. Still clears at normal riding height. At full droop, it just ever so slightly rubs.
Yeah, so...
Ever so slightly. And then hers just clear. Yeah. Just, because those aren't true 30s. These are more like a 30.
Yeah, these are with 14 pounds, and then they're like, 29 and 7/8 or something. So they're pretty close to 30s. So yeah, all in all, it went in very good. It was very quality. Like Marshall said earlier in the video, the packaging is phenomenal. You don't have to try and guess for anything. He puts it all right there for you. So he almost dumbifies it for us, which is beautiful. We appreciate that.
He almost did it without the instructions.
Yeah. So
besides the clearancing stuff he had to do and.
Yep. But other than that, I mean. Great product, it seems like, and we're gonna test it and see if it breaks any axles. It shouldn't, except for Melissa's Amazon specials. If you need a lift for a 1718 XMR, we will link that right down in the description. So anytime you go to Perfex website and put anything in your basket, make sure you use discount code LetDirtFly10, capital L 10 at the end, for 10% discount.
So with that, make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and commenting down below. We really appreciate all the support. Seth, where can I catch us on the interwebs? You can catch us on Facebook, Instagram, shoot us a message. We usually reply as soon as we can. With work, it's,
we get to it when we get to it, unfortunately. But we always try and reply to you guys, so we appreciate everything you guys, shoot to us, questions, comments, it's great. We thank you.
All right, guys, so we'll just have to catch you next time on Let Dirt Fly.
Have you forgotten where you were?